Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. And good morning for some of you. Welcome, 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 welcome. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood, and we are live. That's right, live every day in August. And we are on day number 10. Day number 10. Interesting conversation tonight. A lot of people think that motivation is something that just comes and goes, but it's not true. You can actually train your mind and your body, as we talked about in our last show, to do that. But what happens when you do fall off the tracks, fall out of the wagon, as people say? What do you do at that point? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight and give you some tips and or tricks on how to do that. If you're new to the channel, this is Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology, and we on this channel are helping to educate, empower, and encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, go to the next level, avoid complications, and get that life that you have always wanted. This is our anniversary month, and so this month we are doing a live every day in August, and you'll see there it says to be determined the time. And so we're coming on quite late tonight, but those of you who are out there, we're glad that you're there. We are streaming to several of the social media platforms, and we look forward to engaging with you. If you are new, go ahead and put new in the comments so that we know that you're here, so that we can reach out to you and say hello later on. We can give you a little hand clap. If you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments as well with a Q and a colon, and we will get to those questions. Wow. So change, right? Change is not easy. It's never easy. Whether it's, you trying to quit smoking, start exercising, or any of those things. And there's so many things that can come up, right? And you've got these ups, you've got downs. The key is to stay motivated through all of that. And that sometimes is easier said than done. And I know, right? So I'm talking from experience. When you actually fall off the wagon, it can be tempting to just give up, and say, I'm not doing this anymore. But if you want to achieve your goals, it's important to get back on track. And here we're going to talk about a few steps on how to do that. But before we talk about the steps on how to do that, why do people really not get back on track when they do fall off the tracks, as it were, right? Why do they not get off track? Well, let me pop up a little graphic here, and let's talk about a few of these things, right? So number one, people think that they've screwed up, and this means something about them personally, right? They think they've screwed up. It's human nature for us to focus on the negative, right? They take this one incident and they turn it into evidence that they are a screw up, that they personally are. They forget all the times that they did something successfully. They forget to focus on all the other things that they've done, and not to just focus on this one, right? This kind of self, and we'll talk here in a minute, but how we are like the worst critics of ourselves, right? And it's not helpful. It only leads to more anxiety. It leads to stress. It leads to us delaying getting back on track, right? Because after all, you remember we said that the brain, the mind, does not like to be wrong. And so whatever we tell it, I'm a screw up, I'm a failure, it will find evidence to support that. So as we're internalizing and not just looking at this one example of something that may have gone wrong, or something that an instance, if you will, right? We take it to mean something personally about us. And the more we do that, the body, the mind starts to say, well, if we're a screw up, then I guess we shouldn't do this. Let's not do that anymore. Let's not get back on track. Let's not go back to what we were doing before. Let's just stay where we are. Okay? So that's one of the reasons that people sometimes don't get back on track. Another reason that people don't get back on track is they think they have to start over from scratch. They think they have to start over from scratch. And nobody wants to start over from scratch, right? Like I don't want to start over from scratch. So they make the mistake of thinking that, they've gone 5 steps down the road in whatever it is. It's, the weight loss. And so they ate the cookie, or it's the business that they wanted to start and they missed the deadline. They missed submitting some paperwork. It's the book they were supposed to write and they didn't write those 5 pages for that day. It's the video they were supposed to do and they didn't do that video, right? They said they were going to do video every day. They didn't do a video. It's the networking event they were supposed to go to that they didn't go to, right? And so they think now, okay, I've got to go all the way back and I've got to start over. And it's easy to feel, right, that we've ruined everything and that the only way to fix this situation, right, is to go all the way back. But that rarely is the case. More often, you can just pick up from where you are and you can begin from there. You can start working forward. So another reason why people don't get back on track is they think that they have to start over from scratch. Another reason is that they remember the last time they failed and they wonder what people are thinking. We are so other focused. And when I say other focused, I don't mean in a good way. We remember the last time, quote unquote, we screwed up, the last time we didn't do something right. They wonder what other people around them are thinking. Oh, yeah, that's just Dwayne. Yeah, that's just it. He starts stuff and he never finishes it. He starts stuff and he messes up. He starts things and he doesn't know what to do. And so we become so focused on not making a mistake that when we do make a mistake, quote unquote, we tend not to get back on track because, oh, yeah. And here's the thing. Because of that, because of what we're telling the mind, right? Because of us beating up on ourselves, then it takes now days, weeks, months, sometimes even years. There's somebody out there right now who didn't do something, they didn't improve, they didn't follow through with their plan because something happened to them 10 years ago. And they're even now still suffering from the fact that back then they were worried about what people thought and they were beating themselves up. So we got to learn to let go of those past mistakes and move on. Otherwise, we'll never be able to enjoy life as we're going through the process and to get to those things that we said that we want. Remember, all of this is guided by what? All of this is guided by our mission statement, right? Our mission statement that we wrote. All of it. And so if we're trying to get there, if we're trying to go to that place, then we have got to be able to let go of some of those mistakes that we made. Right? Another reason why people find it hard to get back on track is they don't know how to get back on track. Right? That's an interesting one. Right? How many times have you heard somebody say, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get back on track. It's a common thing that we hear, especially during tough times. But what does that really mean, right? What are they saying? And more importantly, how can we get back on track if you find yourself in that situation, right? So we talked yesterday on the show about staying motivated, and part of being motivated was to have a community, right? So when we find ourselves, we don't know what to do, that's when we reach out. That's when we reach out. We say, hey, I don't know what to do. The community is there. Hey, this is what happened, right? Maybe we get some experts that help come alongside us and help us in that process. Whatever the case may be, right? We got to take action. And the only way to get out of it, getting back on track, So sometimes they don't know how to get back on track. And so this is part of what we're doing, right? We're talking about how do we get back on track? And then people don't expect to get off track. What do you mean? Yeah. Sometimes we think everything is going to be perfect. We're going to come up with our plan, right? Because we've got this motivation. We come up with our plan. We did the SMART goals, and we're going to implement the plan. And from beginning to end, boom, yeah, we're done. We just put it in promotion, and it's going to run. There's never going to be any problems. And that is not the case. If you got a plan, oh yeah, something's going to go wrong. And if you don't plan, if you don't expect that, when it does happen, then it throws you off, and then you don't, and you aren't able to recover because, oh man, that just messed up. Next thing is that they don't recognize when they're off track. They don't have guardrails. And this idea of guardrails, if you know, on the side of the road, right? On the side of the road, they've got these guardrails. And the guardrails, nobody deliberately runs their car off the road. But I bet you if they run their car off the road, they're happy the guardrails are there because they bump into the guardrails. Or have you ever been driving down the road and you hit those, what do they call them? You know, the right? That shows that you're actually not on the road. You're actually veered off. For those people who might, kind of fall asleep sometimes when they drive. Right? So do we have those things in place? Do we have something that says to us, hey, you're veering off? Sometimes they don't know. And sometimes people don't get back on track because they plan to get back on track tomorrow. Oh, I know I'm off. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it next week. And next week turns into next month, and next month turns into next year. And after a while, we don't do it. But they plan to do it, but just not now. And then this last one is called the what the hell principle. I know, I said it. Oh, I ate the cookie. Oh, what the hell? I'll eat another cookie. Whatever, right? I didn't write those pages. Oh, what the hell? I'll do that next week. And see what happens? It builds. And after a while, the mountain is so big. The mountain is so high. The mountain is so humongous that, yeah, well, we're not doing that anymore. We'll postpone that. So those are lots of the reasons, right? If you identify with any of those, go ahead and drop us a note. But ultimately, though, how do we get back on track? Right? So what are the steps for us to get back on track? That's what we want to know. And here are some steps. Review your why. Man, this thing comes up all the time. Review your why. Right? Because remember, it is the why that drives you. The why is the thing that inspires you. The why is the thing that wakes you up. Why is the thing that gives you wind in your sails. If your why doesn't make you tingly, if your why doesn't make you wonder, when are we getting there? If your why, it doesn't drive you, then your why is not strong enough. That's why the why is so important. And that's why we spend time talking about the why. Because the goal is there. We know where we want to go, but why do we want to go there? Is it because, is it that you want this, or are you doing this for someone else? You're doing it for a parent, for a child, for a spouse, for a cousin. Remember, we're designing the new us. And so why are we doing it? So you got to review your why, because the why will give you power. Make it fun. When I drive, I have this little game that I play with myself, right? So the GPS, or back in the day, we knew how long it's supposed to take us to get to a place, and the trick was, or the game for me was, okay, can I beat my time? And so I'd break the trip up into, hey, we're going from here to Birmingham, from Birmingham to Atlanta, from Atlanta down to Florida. Right? We make that trip. And so I'm supposed to take this amount of time to get to Birmingham. Okay, let me see if I can beat that. Safely, of course, safely. Right? So you got housework to do. Right? I'm just giving you some silly examples. You have housework to do. Right? How many pieces of clothes can you fold in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? Make it fun. If you're doing some stuff, put some headphones on. If you're at the gym, put headphones on. Listen to some music. Make it interesting, because when that happens, time flies, right? It goes away. You're like, oh man, I didn't realize. But if it's all kind of this drudgery and I got to do that again. Are you kidding me? No, the mind doesn't like that. Right? So make it fun. Make it fun. Start small. Start small. You remember we talked about getting back on track, and people think they've got to start way back at the beginning, right? All of that stuff, right? They've done 12 steps and they think, oh, I got to go back there. No, start where you are and start small. Remember we talked about chunking, right? Whatever the goal is, whatever the plan is, wherever we're heading, begin chunking. And chunking is simply breaking that thing up into smaller segments. And if you can do that, then the mind says, okay, yeah, that's easier for us to do. So let's do that. So just break it up. Start small. Don't try to, whatever it is, don't try to lift everything at the same time, because you become overwhelmed. Right? Okay. Accept imperfection. These are steps, right? We're talking about the steps. Accept imperfection. Imperfection is a dragon that we all have to slay. We're constantly striving for perfection, but it is an unattainable goal, at least on this side. All right? It's important to accept that no one is perfect, and that includes you. It includes me. Instead of being our own worst critic, we say that's coming back again, learn to accept the imperfections. They make us who we are. They make us unique. Embrace them and love yourself for who you are. Flaws and all, warts and all, big nose, buck teeth, whatever and all. Once you do, you'll be on your way to living a happier and more fulfilling life. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is not perfect. I knew it was not perfect. So come on, let's move on. Let's do it. Focus on the feeling of what it will be like when you achieve the goal. So don't just have this be a static, data-driven thing. What is the feeling that I'm going to have when I get there? I mean, we did that exercise where we say, okay, if I don't achieve this, if I don't get there, if this is a must-have, if I don't have it, what does it mean? And if I do have it, what does it mean? What is the feeling that I get there? What joy does that bring? What relief does that bring? What satisfaction, fulfillment does it bring? Because remember, achievement without fulfillment is really not anything, right? It's failure. Using that word. So I got there, but it really wasn't the thing that I needed, wanted. right? That's why it's so important for us to base everything that we're doing on that mission statement. What is the focus? What's the goal of our life? Make it visual. And we talked so much about journaling and all these other things, right? So get a calendar, right? Put it on the wall. If you're losing weight, if you are writing a book, if you're building a house, if you're investing, if you're flipping a house, whatever it is, get a calendar, put it on the wall and check it off so you can actually see those days going by. The weight chart, print it out, put it on the refrigerator and write it in. I've got my little journal. So day one that I use, I've got Notion that I use, and I see those things, whatever I'm doing in there. When I'm doing my show, right? I've got all of that outlined in there and I just check it off. I love checking it off. Put your workout clothes on the chair so you see it in the morning. Right? Make it visual. That's why we do vision boards. And I don't have mine up there. It's actually sitting over here because it's visual. I told you guys about right up here on my wall. Let me pull that off if I can get that. All right. So this is my commitment statement. My commitment to you for our content, commitment to this channel, commitment to the things that we do. It's right here. And every time I walk in to the office, to the studio, before I sit down, it's right there. I see it as I'm coming in. I'm going to put it over here for now. Right? Make it visual. Step back. The next one. Step back and build trust in yourself. This one here this could take a whole show by itself. Your brain, your mind, and I keep saying that, believes what you tell it. So if you say that I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, the brain and mind believes that. And if you don't go to the gym 3 times a week, then there's some discord there. And so the brain says, wait, whoa, what happened? Okay, wait a minute. And so the next time you don't go to the gym, you said I'm going to go, but I didn't go. You said I'm going to exercise, I didn't exercise. I said I'm not going to eat that cookie, but I ate the cookie. And so the brain now says, well, I can't trust you. And if the brain can't trust you, it starts looking for evidence that it can't trust you. And it starts making you behave in that way. And after a while, okay, well, I'm off track. Well, yeah, that was going to happen anyway. That's what we do. Oh yeah, I didn't go. Oh yeah, we knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew that commitment that you made, it wasn't going to happen. Notice what's happening, right? The mistrust in ourselves is causing problems for the goal. So if you say that you're going to do something, set an alarm, put it on the calendar, tie a string around your finger, whatever you need to do so that you commit to that and you do it. And so your body, your brain, your mind says, yeah, we can trust. When Dr. Wood says this, when Dwayne says this, we know that's going to happen. And this thing that just happened where we fell off the wagon or we got off track, this is just a bump. That's what, notice the brain now says that's just a bump in the road because we know this is not him. This is not personal. This is not who he is. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. So begin building trust in yourself. And then you've got to forgive yourself. You got to forgive yourself. We all screw up from time to time. We say the wrong thing. We make the wrong decision. And we just plain old just mess up sometimes. And when we do, it is tempting to beat ourselves over the head about it. We feel like we're not good enough. We're not worthy enough. We don't deserve it. But the truth is, forgiving ourselves, that's essential for moving on from mistakes, from getting off track. Beating yourself up, all that does is it makes you feel worse and can even lead to depression. So the next time you make a mistake, cut yourself slack. Give yourself a break. Allow yourself to get back on track. So those are some steps. Review your why. It's got to be strong. Make it fun, right? Make this interesting. Because remember, we're living as we are getting to our goal. Start small. Don't pick up the whole big thing. Accept imperfection. Focus on the feeling that you'll have when you reach that goal. Make it visual. Build trust in yourself, and then forgive yourself. That helps us get back on track. And if you do that, then our goals, all those things we said we want to do, that mission statement for our lives, that brings fulfillment. That gets us to where we want to be. We're so glad that you are here. I am so glad that you're here. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood here on the channel. We help to educate, we help to empower, and we help to encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications. Go to the next level and live that life that you've always wanted. Let's get back on track. That's my challenge for you. That's what I want you to do. I'm changing my word, not challenge. That's the opportunity I want you to take. If you're out there, if you're stuck, if you had something that you were planning and you've gotten off track, right? This is August. We got the end of the year coming, right? We got time. Let's get back on track. Let's do it today. Don't wait. Stop beating yourself up. That doesn't mean anything about you as a person. It is something that happened. It is not your identity. Start where you are. Don't try to go back to the beginning. Accept imperfection. Make it fun. Build trust in yourself and forgive yourself. This is day number 10. We'll see you day number 11 as we do live every day in August. If you've not done so, give us a thumbs up. If you're getting some value from what we're doing for this video, share it with your family and friends. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so that you can get those notifications, and we'll see you tomorrow on the live. Good night. Let's get some music. Let's get on out of here.